Hey guys, gonna do a rematch against Play Chess with a Smile. So we're doing 5-2 this time instead of 3-2, so it's a little bit longer. Earlier tonight he played a Benko Gambit, and I've been playing this Queen C2 lines against the Benko, which I find pretty interesting. I think it throws a lot of people because they've not really seen it before. A lot of people just take. Sometimes, okay, that move's fine too. Play e3, we'll go knight f3. Okay, so this is the other idea, is to push, which I don't think is so bad. A lot of times people throw in queen check first before they push. So they throw in a queen check, make me put something on d2, and then they push. And then I have to move it off d2, because whichever piece I put on d2 has got to move out of the way later so I can use the d2 square for the other piece. So I think throwing in that check with the queen saves a little bit of time that I don't have to worry about now. But again, it's not so bad. I probably should have played h3 earlier at some point. I'm going to do it now, because otherwise he could play knight g4, play knight there, and then when I take the knight he takes back, he gets to keep his knight in e5. This way he can't hold a knight on e5. And I can play this bishop e3 now without having to worry about knight g4 as well. I can put the other knight on f2. And sometimes I played a3. So let's do this and see what he's going to do. I need to get the rook off of that line though at some point. So like now, if he were to play a3, I'd like to play b3, but that could be a problem with the rook still hanging there because of knight takes e4. But now I don't think it should be such a concern. What's your idea there, pal? I don't really know why he's gone there. I need to start figuring out what I'm gonna do. Maybe I shouldn't have put the rook on e1. I should have put it on d1, so put the other rook on e1 so I can play knight here out to here. But like, I feel a little bit cramped. So I think I'm going to play here and play f4. That's my big idea for the moment. I guess I'm just going to do it. I could have played like bishop back to try to avoid that, but let's not drop a pawn. We'll pre-move that just in case he goes for it. Okay, I'm kind of happy with that he didn't do that. So we're gonna go here, and I think I'll bring the other one up to g4, and then we're gonna try to push e5 home. That's my big plan at the moment. His bishop. Oh, okay, so f5. Do I have the gusto to push? So I push, he takes, I take, he takes, I take, he goes here. I would have this check, or I would have this discovery, but he can meet it with their check. So I don't care for that. I feel like that perhaps pushing anyway, even though it's a pawn sacrifice, might be best. Although I like this idea of putting a knight there even better. And if he takes, I'm fairly happy. So I'm gonna get a knight onto e6. It doesn't seem that there's a whole lot that he can do about that. And then I can put the other knight up to f3, and then maybe start thinking about is he going to sack the exchange? Oh, I'll let him if he wants. Though e5 is definitely in the cards now because his bishop's blocked. So he's got to do something though, because it looks like, I mean, I'm hitting his queen. I'm thinking about that I can take away his dark squared bishop if I want to. Still may. Oh, I know why he played that, because if he hadn't, then And then I could take on f5. Oh, he does give up the exchange. Interesting. Okay. Takes here. What's his idea? Well, I guess I'm going to take it, right? Yeah. And I was sort of threatening not much there. Should I come out to c6? Let's just come back to here. And probably play f5. I think. Looks good to me. Yeah, I think f5 looks good. Note that if for some reason the rook were to come to a7, I have this bishop capture here on c5. I don't expect that to happen, but it's worth noting. Also later, I may have some sacking ideas on d6 to try to shove this pawn home. It's a pretty dangerous pawn. I guess he could play like bishop c8. Okay. What's your idea there? Okay. So you want to play knight g3. I'm not so worried about knight g3, to be honest. I'll just lift the rook. Is there anything else that's going to happen there? I don't think so. I'm just going to do it. Just going to do it. Having the f-file open, I think, would be pretty nice. Oh, that's his idea. That he gets to take that pawn now. Okay. Well, I'm up the exchange, so is it so bad if I give it back? So I think I'm thinking about capturing right here. And if he takes the exchange, then capture here with check. And then we're going to go here, and I can stick a rook on f7. And then put the queen on g6. I think this looks really dangerous. Yeah, this looks pretty terrible for him, I think. Because the bishop on a6 is completely shut out. His rook is shut out. Okay. Continue with the first part of the plan. And continue with the second part of the plan now. And then probably bishop h6 next. I mean, I assume he's going to move his bishop out. He does. And so my idea is to go here and then play bishop g7 next. I'm also threatening to play rook f8. Yeah. I think this is pretty disastrous. I have a hard time seeing how he's going to avoid checkmate here. He can't take on e6 because of bishop g7. Yeah, he really doesn't have much to go for here. Alright, so that was kind of an only move situation. Should I take with the pawn or the queen? I'm going to take with the pawn, because I can just play queen g8 on the next move. Okay, there we go. That was a nice win. Let's tell him good game. Good game. One moment. And he wants to play another game, but we're going to take a quick minute to look at this and see. Like I said, I think one of the first mistakes is playing b4 immediately. I think this queen move out to cause me some awkwardness would be better. Instead, I got to develop pretty normally, but again, I think knight f3 might have been a mistake. I think I might have needed to have played h3 first. Though knight f3, if he plays bishop g4, nah, I think maybe h3 would have been more accurate. But I got pretty normal development. I think this was a mistake. I think the rook was better on d1, as I said earlier, because I can play rook e1 and get this knight here to g3, because I mean clearly it has no future on this side of the board. So I think this was another mistake. Giving up the light squared bishop, I think that was probably okay. The bishop on a6 turns out not to be doing much of anything. We played b3, and this f5, I thought that was perhaps interesting, but then it really just allows this, and he's got no way to stop me from getting to the e6 square, which is just really dangerous from him. I wonder if instead of playing immediately knight e6, if I could have played e5. No, because pawn takes, knight, and then, yeah, so e5 is not ready yet. So he gave up this exchange, plays here, come back, and I didn't see what his idea was. I wasn't afraid of g3 because I thought I could just bring the rook up. But his idea actually is if I bring the rook up, he's going to take that pawn, and that knight's really well positioned. So I decided to give the exchange back, but I got another pawn for it. So even if I don't get an attack, I have got these 3 pawns, which are going to have to be deadly. But even so, there's just really nothing that he can do after this attack. It's really just the end of the game. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed that, and I'll catch you next time. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.